waited a couple of hours to record this because I wanted to make sure that I could properly process what I just witnessed. So I wasn't prone to hyperbole, going off the deep end, or being overly dramatic, or unduly negative, or pessimistic beyond what was deserved. So here I am, and my conclusion from watching one of the most debacle-like games that I've witnessed a Wisconsin basketball team have in the last 30 years, and that is not hyperbole. Will the real Wisconsin Badgers please stand up? I thought I knew what this team was based on its body of work since October. I've been not shy at all about how good I thought and how well coached I thought this team was. And that's stuff that's in the bank. That stuff happened. It wasn't an aberration. Those things were done by this team and those coaches. But the last few games, 6 or 7 games, culminating with today's absolute ghastly display, make me wonder where this team is right now. I don't know where this team is right now. A team with everything to play for, to trying to get games in Milwaukee in the tournament, 2 seed, 3 seed, top 4 double bye in the Big Ten tournament, everything to play for. Wisconsin Badgers today. We're outscored by 16 points at home in the second half by the 17th place team in the Big Ten. That was an absolute debacle. I'm just shocked. I don't even I like to think I know the game of basketball pretty well, that I have a reasonably even keel when I'm addressing what happens with football, basketball, and other sports. Today, when it wasn't even at the end; it was before the end because you knew where it was going. In that second half, the lack of fight and fire that I saw from that team, for the first time really this season, made me question whether this team has it. Less than 2 weeks ago, I made a video, and it was done with absolutely, solid reasoning and logic that I said this team could be a Final Four kind of team. They were a Final Four kind of team. Not that they'd make it. No one's going to predict that. I wouldn't predict it if they're an easy 2 seed. Boy, I can say I can't travel back and undo that podcast, but with additional information that I have right now, based on what I saw on the Kohl Center floor this afternoon, I don't know that I can say that anymore with a straight face. It doesn't mean they can't do it, but there's a difference between something being mathematically possible and something that you're saying, hey, this is a Final Four kind of team. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to withdraw that based on what I just saw. Because the team that had something to play for didn't look like it. Came up 51 points to Penn State on our floor in the second half of that game. It just, I don't want, I'm trying not to edge into hyperbole here. I said, the emotions that I feel for different reasons, this is the worst that I have felt about the Wisconsin athletic department since the Minnesota loss last November in football. Very different situations, very different reasons for feeling the way I'm feeling, but a real similar effort, I believe, in those 2 games. The last football game at Camp Randall and the last basketball game of the year at the Kohl Center. Similar efforts. Team that wanted it more took it home. If you knew nothing about these 2 teams playing today, you knew nothing about their records, Big Ten standings, player of the year, quote unquote player of the year potential, likely all Big Ten first team selection types, and you just gauged what the future of these or what these teams were based on what you watched in that 40 minutes. I believe you put that to a blind taste test, so to speak, of 100 fans, 95 would say Penn State's a better team with just that sample. Yeah, that's upsets. That's how it happens in college basketball. But it was the effort. I just can't. That's what's shocking to me. So let's recalibrate here. All right. Big Ten tournaments still on. Double bye as I'm recording this looks very highly unlikely. I know there's some scenario where SC could beat UCLA. We may sneak in, but I'm presuming that double bye is gone, as it should be. What's Wisconsin's path forward? Okay, and I haven't mentioned the name Max Klesmik because I don't want to blame this on that. But the reality is it did matter. He is that valuable of a player. Where a lot of fans are hard on the guy, but it matters. Having him matters. And it's going to be nice to get him back. Mostly because he's a good kid that works hard and is very likable. I want Nolan Winter to be healthy, but that would be a devastating blow if he misses any time. That's a Brian Butch. For those who remember, that's a Brian Butch kind of injury for the value in this team. I know he's not the same player Butch is, but at least at this point in his career. But that would be bad, very very bad, an area of weakness for Wisconsin already. Anyway, we need to see what this team is made of. We are going to see what this team is made of now, because the parts that made up the good times and good things this team did this season are still in that garage. They're still in that car. But we'll see. Greg Gard, who has probably ended it today, but had been a Coach of the Year candidate in the Big Ten almost all season, he has some work to do to get this team's head right before the next game they step on a basketball court and play. Because if this team plays anything like they have looked today, they're a one and done in the Big Ten tournament, and they are a one and done in March Madness. I don't care what seed they are. Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this team has some. I've said all season I like the cut of this team's jib. I do like the cut of this team's jib. Not today, I didn't though. That jib looked pretty mangy to me. So I guess we have to just have this be a one-off, the worst one-off, and kind of like the game against Nebraska to close the 2022 season was a one-off when they lost to that terrible Nebraska team. And we got to get some work done. Got to get back to the basics. And it's a tough team, and Greg Gard's a good coach, and I'm not going to put it past him to do it. But boy, oh boy, those sea legs looked pretty unstable today. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Scary Alvarez is out.